We are looking at the one world government, the Great Reset, the Mark of the Beast, and Babylon. Make sure that you've watched the previous 5 or 6 videos, or this one isn't going to make much sense. What we're going to find out today is that the arch enemy, the real villain in the book of Revelation, as it relates to the last days, is a power called Babylon. Okay? It's a harlot woman called Babylon. She controls the governments of the world and the people of the world, and then she unites them all together to kill the followers of Jesus. Having said that, that's a big call to make. We are going to specifically identify who this harlot woman Babylon is. Let me have a drink. Okay, let's go immediately into the text. Revelation chapter 17, 1 through to 6. Notice the figures arise. Babylon, the harlot woman, she rides the kings of the earth. She controls them. She also controls the people of the earth. And then when she unites with the kings of the earth and the peoples of the earth, this unholy union results in the death of the followers of Jesus in an end-time setting. It's connected to the Mark of the Beast. I believe it's connected to the Great Reset, the one world government, the whole kit and caboodle. Revelation 17, verse 2 verses. One of the 7 angels who had the 7 plagues came and said to me, "Come, I will show you the punishment of the great prostitute." He's going to be shown the punishment of a great prostitute. Who the heck is this prostitute? She sits by many waters. With her, the prostitute, the kings of the earth committed adultery. Very, very close union. Yeah? The great prostitute is able to have sex, commit adultery. She's united with the kings of the earth, the one world government, all the world leaders. And the inhabitants of the earth were also intoxicated with the wine of her adulteries. Who the heck is this great prostitute who controls all the leaders of the world, all the peoples of the world? How does this union come about? And what happens after this union? Verse 3. Then the angel carried me away in the spirit into a wilderness. So he said, "John, I'm going to show you the punishment of this harlot woman. She's in control of the kings of the earth and the peoples of the earth." Now he takes her away. He's going to see this woman. Okay? And where does the angel carry John? He carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness. He's going to see a harlot in the wilderness. That's important. Remember the word wilderness. This has become very important in the next teaching. So he takes me away in the spirit into the wilderness. There I saw a woman in the wilderness. A woman in the wilderness. A woman in the wilderness. I've said that 3 times so that you remember it. Because in the next teaching, you're going to see he saw this woman in the wilderness in chapter 12. And that's why his reaction to this vision, he nearly vomits. He's absolutely gutted. The woman that he saw in the wilderness in chapter 12 appears again in chapter 17. But she's become a harlot. I won't go any more than that. Okay, let's just stick with the text. I went into the wilderness. There I saw a woman in the wilderness sitting on a beast. It was covered with blasphemous names and had 7 heads and 10 horns. Last video, go into that there. This is the one world government. These are all the kings. And now he's going to go into the details of the text, and he's going to say, "John, I'm going to show you who this woman is. I'm going to show you what she's going to do, and I'm going to tell you who she is." Verse 4. First, he now tells us how this harlot woman is dressed. Why? Because this dress code belonged to one entity in the Old Testament. He made it very easy for John to know who this woman was. Only one other person was dressed like this. Verse 4, the woman was dressed in purple and scarlet and gold and precious stones and pearls. This harlot woman was dressed in purple scarlet, gold, stones, and pearls. Only one entity was dressed like that. So it was very easy for John to identify who this woman was. And I'm going to show you today. She held a golden cup in her hand, filled with abominable things and the filth of her adulteries. The name written on her forehead was a mystery, Babylon the Great. Okay, so now we know this is Babylon. The harlot woman is Babylon, yeah? She's got something written on her name. She's dressed in purple and scarlet and gold and stones and pearls, and now she has something on her forehead, and John knows, oh my goodness, all these things, all these characteristics, this checklist belonged to one person in the Old Testament. One. On her forehead was a name, Babylon the Great, the mother of prostitutes and the abominations of the earth. On her forehead was Babylon the Great, abominations of the earth. Dressed in purple, scarlet, gold, stones, pearls, forehead, abominations of the earth. John recognized this woman. He knew who it was. And you can tell by his reaction, he knew who it was because he was absolutely gutted, astonished what this woman was about to do. So when this woman rides the kings of the earth and controls the people of the earth, when they unite, something terrible happens when this woman Babylon unites with the governments and the peoples. Something happens that's terrible. Verse 6, and I saw the woman was drunk with the blood of God's holy people, the blood of those who bore testimony to Jesus. This harlot woman, when she gets power from the governments and the people, she does this with one purpose in view: kill the followers of Jesus. It's a global power because it controls all the kings of the earth and all the inhabitants of the earth. It's a worldwide something. But the way the angel described the woman's clothes and what was written on her forehead nailed it for John. He knew who it was. And then he found out that this power killed Christians, the followers of Jesus, in an end time setting. First, she rides the kings of the earth and they have a love relationship, yeah? Later on in the chapter, the kings of the earth hate her, kill her. They kill the harlot, Babylon. But the way they kill her tells us something about their identity, her identity. We're going to go into the dress code and the forehead, but before we go there to the Old Testament and I show you who this entity is, yeah, I want you to see one thing from here. Look at the way the harlot dies. The way the harlot dies tells us who the harlot is. The way the harlot dies tells us who the harlot is. Revelation 17:16, the kings that she controlled to kill the Christians, they all turn on her. And they kill this harlot in a very specific way that tells us who she is. The beast and the 10 horns you saw, they will hate the prostitute. The beast and the 10 horns, if you look at verse 12 to 21, it says that they are, the horns are kings, the heads are kings, and the beast are kings. It's the same kings that she was riding, yeah? The beast and the 10 horns, the kings, that you saw will hate the prostitute. They will bring the Babylon, the prostitute woman, to ruin, leave her naked. They will eat her flesh, and they will burn her with fire. The harlot Babylon is burned with fire. Harlots were always stoned to death, except if the harlot had a specific identity. Are you ready? Leviticus 21 verse 9. If a priest's daughter defiles herself by becoming a prostitute, if a priest's daughter, if a priest's daughter defiles herself by becoming a prostitute, she disgraces her father, she must be burned with fire. The only kind of harlot that was burned with fire was a religious figure, the daughter of a priest. Babylon is a worldwide religious entity. It's a worldwide religious entity that can control the kings of the earth and the people of the earth. And when they all come together, they kill the followers of Jesus, Christians, in an end time setting. And then all of a sudden the kings turn on her. And they burn the harlot with fire. And the only harlot that was ever burned with fire was the daughter of a priest. Babylon is a religious figure. It's an end time religious figure. Religion controlling government kills the followers of Jesus. The Pharisees, religion, united with Pontius Pilate, government. And when they came together, they killed Jesus. What happened to Jesus in his last days is going to happen to the church in its last days. History is going to repeat itself globally. Do you remember that she was dressed in gold and purple and stones and stuff, right? Let's go back now. Purple, precious stones, gold, yeah? That was the dress code of a special person, a special identity in the Old Testament. One thing's for sure, we know so far the harlot is the daughter of a priest. It's a religious figure that's global, that can control all the governments of the world. That is clear. What about the dress code? Does that harmonise with that? You better believe it. Exodus chapter 28, 1 and 2. We're going to look at the dress code of the high priest. The daughter of a priest harlot, burned with fire. The clothes were that of the high priest. Exodus 28, 1 and 2. Have your brother Aaron, that's the high priest, Aaron the high priest. Have your brother Aaron and his sons, the high priestly family, come to you from the Israelites to serve me as a priest. Aaron and his family, the family of high priests, were to serve God. And he said, they're going to have special clothes on, and they're going to have something on their forehead when they serve me. Look. Verse 2, make holy garments for your brother Aaron the high priest, for glory and beauty, and you are to instruct all the skilled craftsmen whom I have filled with the spirit of wisdom to make Aaron the high priest's garments, for consecrating him to serve me as priest. Serve me as priest. So, now we've got the clothes of the high priest to serve God. To serve God as a representative of God to the people. How was Aaron the high priest dressed? You know where I'm going. To serve God for the people. Look. Verses 4 and 5. These are the garments that they must make for Aaron. They must make a breastpiece, an ephod, a robe, a specially woven tunic, a turban, and a sash. They are to make the holy garments for your brother Aaron the high priest and his sons the high priests, so that they may serve me as priests, servants of God. How will the servants of God dress? They should use gold, blue, purple, and scarlet. Gold, blue, purple, and scarlet. Where did we read that before? Babylon is dressed in gold and blue and purple and scarlet. The daughter of a priest, burned with fire, dressed as a priest. The high priest, a servant of God, as a representative of God to the people. Babylon is an end time representative of God, supposed to serve God and the people of God. But it ends up killing the followers of Jesus. And John was gutted. Gutted. we noticed also that Babylon had something written on its head, on its forehead. Revelation 17:5. The name written on her forehead, the harlot woman Babylon, was a mystery. Babylon the Great, the mother of prostitutes and of the abominations of the earth. So now Babylon's got the dress of a high priest to represent God before the people. It's killed as a priest's daughter, a harlot, burned with fire. It's an end-time religious system. And of the abominations of the earth written on its forehead. That's also taken from Exodus 28:36 to 38. Make a plate of pure gold, engrave on it as on a seal. Engrave on it holiness to the Lord on this plate. Where did it go? Fasten a blue cord to it and attach it to the turban. It is to be on the front of the turban. It will be on Aaron's forehead. Babylon copies the dress code of the high priest point for point for point. The high priest on his forehead had holiness to the Lord. Babylon has abominations of the earth. Holiness to the earth, abominations, holiness to the Lord, abominations to the earth. Why? Because she's supposed to represent God, and she didn't. She killed the people of God, the followers of Jesus. Exodus 28:29 and 30. Whenever Aaron enters the holy place, serving God for the people, serving representative of God for the people, representative of God for the people, dressed in all those clothes, holiness to the Lord, Babylon, high priest, religious figure. When he enters into the holy place, he will bear the names of the sons of Israel over his heart. He's supposed to carry the people with him. They're supposed to be on his heart. He will bear the names of the sons of Israel over his heart on the breastpiece of decision as a continual memorial before the Lord. I'm serving God, and I'm bringing the people of God with me. That was the job of the high priest. A representative of God supposed to carry the people of God on his heart. Also put the Urim and the Thummim in the breastpiece so they may be over Aaron's heart whenever he enters the presence of the Lord. Thus Aaron will always bear the means of making decisions for the Israelites over his heart before the Lord. And what does Babylon do? It kills the people of God, claiming to be a representative of God. And that's why John is absolutely gutted. Look again at Revelation 17:4 to 6. John said, my goodness, this is a religious power at the end of time. It's supposed to represent God. It's worldwide. It can control the governments. And instead of protecting the people of God and carrying the people of God on his chest, on his heart, he kills them, the followers of Jesus. Revelation 17:4 to 6. The woman was dressed in purple and scarlet and gold, precious stones, pearls. She held a golden cup in her hand, filled with abominable things and filth of her adulteries. The name written on her forehead was Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of prostitutes and of the abominations of the Lord. And I saw the woman drunk with the blood of God's holy people, the blood of those who bore the testimony of Jesus. And when I saw her, I was greatly astonished. A worldwide representation of God, supposed to carry the people of God, kills the people of God, the followers of Jesus. When bad religion, worldwide religion, unites with government, takes control of the people, persecution of the followers of Jesus is what's going to happen. And instead of carrying the people of God on his heart as a false representative of God, he kills them. But to do that, this false religion needs to have political power. And so it rides the governments of the world to kill the followers of Jesus. There's more. There's more. As I said at the beginning, John saw this woman in the wilderness in chapter 12. And now he sees her again in chapter 17. And she's become a harlot and a murderer. She was seduced. Next time. God bless you.